Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Ignore the mess and stuff. It's really annoying because basically when I'm filming, I sit that end so you can see that background, which is, I'll show you, which is like, that's already a mess. Everything's a mess, and then like, everything's a fucking mess. But that's usually my background, but my window is that side, so the light comes this way, so technically I can't actually film in the day because of like the lighting and shit and science and stuff, and it all just like gets too much. So, but I wanted to film, but then I was like, I also don't want to look like a bum bandage. I don't want to look shit, so maybe I'll just like hold the camera without any lights and film towards the window. And honestly, it's the best fucking idea I've ever had. So here goes. Here's another story time for you guys. Gonna try and keep this one short-ish because I tend to just talk for ages. Basically, this is another Tinder date, and it must look like I go on a lot of Tinder dates, but literally the ones that I've told stories on are the ones that I've been on, and like for some reason it all just turns out to be horrendous. I basically met this guy on Tinder, as you do, and we started talking. We spoke a lot on the phone. He was, I believe he was like South African. Oh no, sorry, he was from New Zealand. And like, we spoke a lot on the phone and stuff before we met, and he was obviously older. Like, if you don't know about me, I like older guys, so I prefer my guys like around the 40 mark. So my ex was 44, but we don't talk about him because he broke my heart and I'm wounded and I hate him. I just find older men so much sexier. I just like, oh, wrinkled dick, love it. We'd basically met for a drink and stuff, and I was really nervous. So I get really nervous to things like this, and I'm all like, I don't know if it shows, but I'm genuinely like a really insecure person. So like, I find it like a lot of pressure when you go on these like Tinder dates. I think, oh, what if like he thinks I don't look the same as my pictures, or what if like we don't get along like we did like over messages. So I just get really like insecure and paranoid about these things. So basically I arrived early because I'm like, I don't want him to watch me walk in. Like, I want to already be sat down with a glass of wine. So I thought I'll have a drink before he comes. So I've got a glass of wine. Literally, I'm like shaking. So I've gone to like take a sip and it's gone everywhere. It's gone all over my trousers. And I'm like, right, this is a great start. So basically I can't get up until this fucking dries. So that was shit anyway. When this guy turns up, his name was, I used to use fake names, but for some reason I feel the need to tell you his name, but his name was Darren. And basically he met me, and he was a lot better looking in his pictures than he was when he turned up. And he worked in Mayfair. So I was like, I'm assuming for your job, like you have to be like really suited and booted. I love a good suit. I love a good tailored suit. So I was like, turn up in your suit. Like, I want you to wear your suit. So he turns up in his suit, but it was a proper like dad suit, like just one of those like really ill-fitting, did not look good. He looked like he was drowning in a fucking sleeping bag. Like, it did not look good. So I was like, oh, this is not great. But I really actually enjoyed his company. We really got on, and then I had about 3 drinks, and by this point I was like, shit, I'm pissed. It doesn't take me much to get drunk. And then I was like, I'm already out, like I might as well just enjoy it. Like, okay, he's not the best looking thing in the world, but don't be so shallow. So we've gone out, we've had steak and red wine at his friend's restaurant. By this point, I've had like 2 bottles of wine. I am absolutely shit-faced, okay? And the one thing that I tend to do when I'm drunk, and I don't drink much, but if I do and you're near me and I fancy you, I'll probably kiss you, because I turn into some like sordid kissing machine. I don't know what's wrong with me. Like, I'm a real prude person. Like, I'm not just gonna have sex with someone, or I'm really like, oh, it's disgusting. Like, don't talk about sex and willies and vaginas. Like, I hate it. But for some fucking reason, I turn into a kissing slut when I've had a drink. So I end up kissing this guy a lot in the fucking restaurant. How just like, not very ladylike, Sara. It was just horrible. So I ended up like kissing him loads for some reason. And I just got completely fucked up that night, completely fucked, really drunk. I was smoking cigarettes. I was like, this is great. Like, they did a lock-in at the restaurant and I'm here just like 2 in the morning, like, yeah, it's a fucking Tinder date, Sara, go home, like, go home. Anyway, he drops me home, gets his friend to like drop me home. I wake up the next morning and I'm like, my head is banging. I barely remember much, so I didn't really remember I remembered what he looked like, but in my head, I think I was still envisioning the Tinder pics. So I was a bit like, oh, he wasn't actually that bad. Like, I was just really drunk and I didn't like. Now, don't get me wrong, he was probably like a 6 out of 10, which is not bad. I'm probably like a 6 out of 10. So then I'm like, right, okay, that was fun. That was a good night, I had fun. He was a nice guy, maybe I'll see him again. So then me and my best friend go out. We're in West End. And, sorry, I keep zooming in and out. We're in West End and I'm like, shall I call Darren? Because actually his mate was like really good looking as well. Like, he probably like, mate, good little man. And he took ages to come. So I'd met my best friend, then I met my little squad. I'd met my friend Georgie and her friend Danny. We had actually already been to dinner with the 2 girls, but I had to go off and meet this guy. And then so I called them and I was like, come and meet us in Sexy Fish, like we're all gonna go out. So I'm sitting down waiting for him. I'm not joking. The fucking guy turns up in a tweed fucking suit. Okay, now I am all for old men. I like the sexy silver fox look. But no one told you to turn up looking like my fucking dead granddad. Like, what the fuck? Like, why are you in a tweed suit? Why? This isn't like a daddy-daughter thing. Just why? So I'm like, when I'm in Sexy Fish and I'm dressed to the nines, I've got my boots on, I've got like a little blazer, little shorts, and I'm feeling quite like sassy and really over the top, like dressed. And he just looked like a bum, like a proper bum. And the one thing I remember which stuck is that he told me he hates coffee. He doesn't drink coffee, hates it. He's a tea drinker all the way, never drank coffee. His fucking breath stank, like, you know, to the point where you're like, you can use that shit for chemical warfare, like like that. It smelled so bad. And every time he'd speak, I just go, coffee breath, like, oh. That's all I could, just hot coffee air in my face. It was horrible. It was horrible. So at this point, I'm like, shit, I'm really not enjoying this. And it actually does look like I'm with my dad. Like, what? I'm with my white dad. He wasn't really cutting it for me, if I'm being honest. And that fucking suit was absurd. Go fuck off with your Matalan suit. I'm not interested. You can't work in Mayfair and dress like that. This doesn't work. Someone needs to sack you, bro. Somebody sack you. Obviously, I'm not gonna be a bitch. Like, I sit there and like chat to him, and my fucking friends have fucked off to the table next door. It's like 3 fucking buff guys, and I'm like here with Mr. Tweed, like. And obviously, I don't want to ruin anyone else's fun, so I'm not gonna be like, oh, like you have to come and sit here with me. Like, enjoy yourself. As soon as I can make a quick escape, I'm there. But this guy came all the way from, like, he lived far. I was like, this is deep, like, I can't really deep him like this. So we all decided we'll just, like, carry on. We had to then go meet his friend who owns one of the strip clubs near where we were. So we all ended up in the strip club, just got smashed. My friend Danny was just scared of the strip club. I think she thought, I don't know what she thought, but she looked scared. She was not enjoying herself. And then she got really drunk and started calling Darren a paedophile. Oh, so bad. She was like joking, but not joking at the same time. And I remember being in the car and she was like, look, I know you're a paedophile and this probably isn't going to end well because you'll probably kill us, but I just want to let you know that I've had like a really good time, and if I'm going to die, I'm going to die. I've had a great time, guys. And I'm just laughing my fucking ass off. Like, I'm just drunk. This is all funny. Like, I'm really not that into him either. So it's just even more funny. But bless him, he took it really well. Like, he was like, ah ha ha. Like, he took it well. He didn't get too offended. But later on in the night, we start talking and stuff, and I'm drunk and blah, blah, blah. He starts coming out with some weird shit. So first he's like, oh, like, what like things are you into? And like I said, like, I'm a really prude person. Like, I find it really disgusting to just like talk about sex with people that you don't know, and like, I'm just not public affection and stuff. I cringe. I just don't like it. So when he asked me, I was a bit like, oh, I'm not really that sort of adventurous. He's like, oh, like, I really like masks and stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. What, like a Peter Pan mask? Like, what kind of, like a gimp mask? I didn't ask because I didn't want to fucking know, because either way, it's weird. So I was like, oh, okay. And then he asked me if I'd ever had a threesome, to which I replied, no. And he looked at me like I just told him that I murdered his family. He was so, like, bamboozled. He was so shocked. Like, you've never had a threesome? Like, no, bitch. And then he was like, okay, well, if you did, like, I was like, yeah, I'd probably do it with, like, girls, not, I don't want fucking dicks, like, in my face and in my ear. Like, it's gross. And he looked at me like I was fucking mad. Like I was I'm sorry, I don't want two dicks up my ass and in my ear, like, soz. Like, he honestly looked at me like I was mad. Well, I don't want to have a threesome with two guys. Do you know how much fucking headache men are? And you want me to? Like, you're having a laugh, bro. Anyway, this conversation just started to get, like, really very sexual, and I just was not having a good time. So I'm like, I'm just gonna go to the toilet. I didn't return, okay? I stayed the hell away from this guy. Like, what the fuck? Who first of all asks those questions? And who second of all comes with that shocked face at one's answer? Like, it just all was a bit, I was like, this is weird, you're weird, I'm really drunk, I'm gonna go home. We then went to go into a club. Ah, that's it. We went into a club. His friend also had a club. So thank God the whole weird talk stopped. I was like, we're going to go into a club. There's no way, like, he can speak to me because it's fucking loud and I don't have to hear this shit anymore. Like, the girls are having a good time. I was like, this is cool. So we've gone to the club. We've had a good night and we're about to leave. And then we're about to leave. And my friend looks at him when we're outside and she's like, are you going to get us a cab? And he looked at her like, he was like, what? As if she'd asked him the weirdest, most absurd question. My man then jumped into a Rolls Royce and fucked off home. Wasn't like, how are you getting home? Are you okay to get home? Like, I am fine to get my own cab. I will always get my own taxi and stuff. But I genuinely do feel like if someone does really care about you and they want to make sure you're safe and stuff, they'll just do those little things. So stuff like that for me is a bit of a test. Like, are you gonna, I can get my own cab, don't worry, but are you gonna nibble the bait? Like, are you gonna make sure I'm home safe, blah, blah, blah. He looked at her as if she was fucking mad, jumped into the Rolls Royce and fucked off home. He then had the audacity to message me about 45 minutes later and say, did you get home okay? Dunno, bro. Last time you saw me, you left me outside a club at like 4 o'clock in the morning with my sexy ass friend, both looking very sexy. So you couldn't spare the £9 it would have cost you to put me in a taxi. So that was that. And then I sent him a text like a couple of days later and I was like, look, I think you're like a little bit too, what word did I use? In fact, I've got the message here, I'll read it to you. Gotta keep all of the evidence. No, I've archived the chat, but I've actually got it here. I said to him, hey, I think putting aside the excess, because he sent me a text and was like, every time that we've met, for some reason it's ended up in like loads of alcohol, party and stuff. Let's just like have dinner us two. What, so you can fucking rape me with your weird stories? No. So I was like, so he's like, hun, I'm sensing something changed since our pear-shaped night out. Seems like we had something pretty good before Saturday and even during the first half of Saturday. I would like to see you again, but without all the partying, as that is not normally me. Like, what are you thinking? So I replied and I was like, hey, I think putting aside the excess partying and drink, we probably are a little bit different. I'm quite timid in some aspects and looking for someone similar in that sense. Like, I don't think, you know, this is a match, because you keep talking about fucking threesomes and like, oh, and another thing, sorry, this is a really big thing to leave out. He told me about sex parties that he went to. A fucking sex party. Listen, if it's not a chicken nugget party, I want to know. Don't talk to me about no sex parties. That is gross. It was going around dicking people. Like, how desperate. I just think it's so gross. So yeah, that was another reason that I was like, no. I don't think so. So yeah, that was the end of another tragic Tinder date that I seem to get myself into. But I hope you liked the story, guys. It's a little bit more casual. We're just like together. My arm's going a bit numb. But please make sure to hit the subscribe button. Please make sure to like, comment below as always. I love you guys and I will see you on the next video. Bye.